Has Hollywood ever swayed your understanding of history? We're here to delve into this fascinating question today. Hollywood, the land of dreams and drama, has been our guide to the past, presenting us with its own interpretations of historical events. But how accurate are these depictions? Well, let's just say Hollywood has a flair for the dramatic. The industry often amplifies, romanticizes, and sometimes even completely rewrites history, all in the name of entertainment. History, in its raw form, may not always be as glamorous or action-packed as depicted on the silver screen. Yet these cinematic recreations have a profound influence on how we perceive the past. They shape our understanding, our emotions, and our connection to these events. So, let's embark on this journey of discovery, unraveling the truth behind the screen. Join us as we compare Hollywood's version of history with the actual events. First on our list is the unsinkable Titanic. A ship of dreams, a marvel of engineering, and a symbol of human arrogance that met a tragic end. In the early hours of April 15, 1912, the Titanic, on its maiden voyage from Southampton to New York, struck an iceberg and sank into the icy North Atlantic waters. More than 1,500 souls were lost to the sea, marking one of the deadliest peacetime maritime disasters in history. Now let's shift our gaze to Hollywood's portrayal of this calamity. James Cameron's epic film Titanic painted a romantic drama on this grim canvas of history. The film weaves a tale of star-crossed lovers, Jack and Rose, who find love and tragedy on the ill-fated voyage. This love story, while captivating, is purely a work of fiction, crafted to engage audiences and drive the film's narrative. In reality, the Titanic was a microcosm of the society of the time, with distinct social classes and the rigid rules that governed them. The ship was a floating city housing people from all walks of life, from the upper crust of society to those seeking a fresh start in the new world. The real drama unfolded not in a whirlwind romance but in the stark reality of class differences, the scramble for survival, and the heartbreaking loss of life. Cameron's film does, however, excel in its depiction of the ship and the event of the sinking itself. The grandeur of the Titanic, the opulence of its interiors, and the terrifying sequence of the sinking were all meticulously recreated with an eye for detail. The film's portrayal of the disaster serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of overconfidence and negligence. While the Hollywood version tugged at our heartstrings, it's essential to remember the real-life tragedy that occurred. The Titanic was more than a backdrop for a cinematic love story. It was a testament to human ambition, a monument of technological achievement, and a somber reminder of the frailty of human life against the unforgiving forces of nature. Let's journey back to the ancient Roman Colosseum with Gladiator. The grandeur and brutality of Rome's gladiatorial games have been immortalized on the silver screen through Ridley Scott's epic portrayal. But how does Hollywood's depiction stack up against the gritty reality of the ancient world? To start, let's look at the gladiators themselves. In the Hollywood version, Maximus, a Roman general turned slave, is forced into the gladiatorial ring. While it makes for a compelling story, the reality was perhaps less romantic. Most gladiators were indeed slaves, prisoners of war, or condemned criminals, but many were also free men seeking fame and fortune. The life of a gladiator was not always one of forced servitude. The film also showcases the grand spectacle of the Colosseum, with thousands of spectators cheering on the brutal fights. But the Colosseum was more than just a venue for bloodshed. It was also a stage for drama, music, and other forms of entertainment. The ancient Romans loved a good spectacle, and the games were designed to please the crowd, not just quench their thirst for violence. One thing the movie does capture accurately is the brutality of the gladiatorial games. Life was cheap in the arena, and death was a common outcome. However, it's worth noting that not every match ended in death. Many gladiators lived to fight another day, and some even retired to a life of relative comfort. The film's depiction of Emperor Commodus is another point of contention. While Commodus was indeed a controversial figure, the movie amplifies his villainy for dramatic effect. The reality is, like all historical figures, Commodus was a complex character with his own set of virtues and vices. So while Gladiator offers a captivating glimpse into the world of ancient Rome, it is, at its core, a work of fiction. The real-life gladiatorial games were a brutal spectacle, reflecting the values and appetites of a society far removed from our own. Hollywood's Gladiator is a thrilling ride, but it's worth remembering the brutal reality of these ancient games. Next, we delve into the world of code breaking during World War II with The Imitation Game. The film takes us back to the throes of the Second World War, where we meet Alan Turing, an enigmatic figure. In the film, he's portrayed as a socially awkward genius, a lone wolf who single-handedly cracks the notorious German Enigma code. But how accurate is this portrayal? If we peek through the lens of history, we find that while Turing was indeed a brilliant mathematician, he was far from being a solitary hero. In reality, Turing was a part of an extensive team of codebreakers at Bletchley Park, a top-secret facility in England. This team, composed of linguists, chess champions, and crossword enthusiasts, all contributed to the decoding efforts. Furthermore, the film's depiction of Turing's machine, named Christopher, as a singular, groundbreaking invention, is a bit of a Hollywood exaggeration. Turing's real-life Bombay machine was indeed impressive and a key tool in decoding German messages. However, it was not the first of its kind. Its design was actually an enhancement of an earlier Polish invention, the bomba. And what about Turing's personal life? The film paints a poignant picture of Turing as a closeted homosexual, which was indeed the case. Yet it glosses over the profound impact of his arrest and conviction for gross indecency in 1952. This event was a significant turning point in Turing's life, leading to his tragic death just 2 years later. In short, while The Imitation Game spins a compelling narrative, it's important to remember that the real story is a bit more complex. The historical Turing was not just a misunderstood genius, but a man who lived in a time when his sexual orientation was deemed a crime, and his monumental contributions to the war effort and computer science went largely unrecognized during his lifetime. While The Imitation Game provides an engaging narrative, the real-life story of Alan Turing and his team is even more impressive. So, how does Hollywood's version of history stack up against the real thing? Well, let's rewind and revisit our journey through the silver screen's rendition of history. We started with the tragedy of the Titanic, a tale of love and loss set against the backdrop of one of the most catastrophic maritime disasters. Hollywood gave us a heart-rending love story, but the real event was a human tragedy of epic proportions that changed maritime laws forever. Then, we traveled back in time to the grandeur of the Roman Colosseum, as portrayed in the film Gladiator. The film offered us a thrilling tale of a wronged Roman general seeking vengeance, but the real Colosseum bore witness to countless stories of bravery, survival, and yes, the pervasive brutality of those times. Our final stop was the gripping narrative of The Imitation Game, where we saw a dramatized version of the genius mathematician Alan Turing's life. The film depicted his instrumental role in cracking the Enigma code during World War II. However, the real-life story of Turing is a testament to the immense contributions of unsung heroes in the shadows of war, and it also highlights the societal prejudices of the time. So if we stack up Hollywood's version of history against the real thing, it's clear that while these films capture the essence of these historical events, they often add layers of drama and embellishment for the sake of entertainment. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. After all, the goal of these films is to captivate audiences and make history accessible to all. But it's also essential to remember that the true essence of history lies in its raw, unfiltered facts. These facts are often more complex, more nuanced, and sometimes even more dramatic than their Hollywood depictions. While Hollywood makes history captivating, it's always worth digging deeper into the real events behind the silver screen stories. Because, as we've seen, the real stories, the real history, is often just as, if not more, compelling.